Okay, welcome to NuPIC Sprint Planning. This is May 22nd, and we're going to plan the next sprint. Here is NuPIC Core. These are the closed issues from this current sprint. So just a review. We've got an OSX build added to the matrix just for CLang and Python 2.7. A few other minor things. We have zlib back in, and then the file renaming. That's it for NuPIC Core. And here's a review of what's been closed in NuPIC. See if there's anything major. So we had that MySQL issue that was preventing people from running swarming tests, so I think that has been resolved. Also added OSX to this build matrix. And we did do an update to point NuPIC to the newest version of NuPIC Core about a week ago. A few things about a few minor things. This had to do with the swarming bug, some assertions that Chayton put in on input dimensions, and then more renaming. Okay, so nothing huge. I'm happy to get Mac OS X in the build mix, so that's good. Let's go to open issues in NuPIC Core. Okay. So here's something I know nothing about, this assembly thing. I think, let's see what the status of this is. Right, so it is, I think it's basically ready for review. So last I checked, this was on Monday, I asked Wilson K to merge master in, and he has, so let me mark this as ready, this PR. I don't know, Subutai probably wants to go over it, so this probably won't get merged immediately. Okay. And I lost my, here we go. There's the associated ticket. Austin took on this NuPIC Core. He's out today. So he was planning on trying to get a building on Solaris. I don't know what the status of this is, but I think we might as well keep it in case he finds time to do that. He seemed to be very interested in that, helping the guys from Fujitsu get NuPIC running on their big servers. So here's another ticket on asserting input dimensions. That is currently Chayton's ticket. So I still have this ticket on defining the public API. I think there is a wiki page for that. I'm not sure how much it's been updated. Yeah, here it is. So not a whole lot of stuff. Nothing really down here except places to start looking. But I wanted to try and define just in a document what needs to be defined as the API, so then we can make sure that those things are documented and that they have tests written for them. So that's still work to be done. So currently assigned to Subutai, who's out. I don't know when he's getting back. Is he back on Tuesday, Scott?
Not sure.
Me either. Okay. But I'm going to leave that in his court. So the API docs, Utensil has been working on that, so I'm going to keep that on. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but he's actually done some work just recently. If it will load. There we go. So the doc's got a bit of a facelift, but it looks pretty nice. The same thing for NuPIC. And this is apparently, he knows a lot more about Doxygen than I do. This is apparently a more maintainable or sustainable output format that he updated to for Doxygen 1.8.7. So moving forward, this is should be more supportable. So that's good. We've also talked a little bit about docs for the Python NuPIC project, and we might end up diverging in the future, going away from Doxygen since it's really not a C project and using a more standard documentation technology. Okay, where am I? Right, engine doc. So that's still going on. I think Utensil still has some things to do there. The help text for CMake options is misleading. Let's see. Okay. That seems like a valid issue. Seems like an easy one to fix. I don't know. Jayden, you could probably just fix that, or somebody. So we'll leave that up. That's I got a help wanted in NuPIC, so it's an easy thing to do. We will leave it around. And then the unit tests thing. I got a little bit of support on this on the mailing list. Some people expressed their interest. So I was waiting on Fergal to see if he could get something done on this. So Fergal, this was in your court. You volunteered for it. I'm going to assign it to you and move it along into the next sprint. So you're on tap. So all of these things, I think, unless there are any objections, I'm going to roll over into sprint 23. Okay. For NuPIC core. Let's go to sprint 22 and close it out. We are now on sprint 23. Okay, now NuPIC. All right, swarm error messages, that is an open PR. The anomaly likelihood algorithm is also an open PR from me. Subutai would like to review that when he gets back, so I'm holding off on that merge, but I believe it's ready. Scott and I have been working on it. This is the ticket for that. I have been working on the hotgem anomaly sample, but it uses the anomaly likelihood algorithm in NuPIC, so I don't want to merge that until the other is merged in. But there is already a video, it's just not published yet. Right, so sorry, I forgot your name, but Moore from Portland. He's working on this unit test cleanup. He was going to submit a PR on this. It hasn't happened yet, so I'm just going to leave it around. Hopefully he works on that. He's on IRC a lot, so I can bug him there. Run swarm fail on Ubuntu. I do not remember what the status of this was. Let's see. Related to 888. Oh, I think this was this had to do with the misleading error, and we could not really identify exactly what was wrong. So hopefully once the swarm error message PR is merged in, we'll get a better idea of what's wrong here. So there is no job result. So something is either wrong with the input or the swarm description, most likely. So I'll leave that open. Hopefully I can follow up on that after we get better error messages in. Okay. Yeah, so this is also a valid issue with swarms. I'm going to assign that to me. I've worked in that area, so I should take that. I know what he's talking about. Solaris is still in Austin's court. So this is a ticket for NuPIC, is the sister ticket for the core issue. This error thing, that's the PR I referred to before. I don't know what this map potential issue is, but I assume that you guys are reviewing that since it's already in PR form. And this is kind of a constant ticket. README should provide. Yeah, go ahead.
The map potential and dimensional stuff, that was work that Chayton did to support arbitrary numbers of dimensions in the spatial pooler, but that PR is waiting on a C++ 1, so they can be merged together. And I think he is tentatively planning on doing it this next sprint.
Okay, sounds good to me. Yeah, so there's Utensils still has some ideas about how to improve the README. Some of them have been implemented. I'm going to leave it open because there's still some things that could be done there. I don't know the status of this add a test of spatial polar compatibility. test that checks for one-dimensional SP, but he's assigned himself to it, so I'll leave it. And same thing with this, the topology one. Okay. This run swarm produces a model params with non-temporal model, and also with TP enable is true. That's just I believe, again, this is a confliction just in the output, but I'd like to find some time to dig into it and into the swarm process and see exactly what's going on there. If there are just defaults that always show up and some override the others. So I'd like to get the model params that come out of the swarm to be a little less confusing. So if there's conflicting details in there, we should probably fix it. And here is the Intax developer build thing. So this has sort of become, I'd like to maybe change the label of this. What we need is a feature for developers that basically does what Intax developer build used to do. Now, as we've discussed before, once we get NuPIC pip installable, this shouldn't be an issue anymore, but in the meantime, it's still a major pain for developers to make Python changes without rebuilding all of the C stuff running CMake. So there's a workaround with symlinks in the release directory, which I've been doing as well now, but it's a pain in the ass. So we should leave this around, and hopefully somebody will work on it. Actually, I'm going to keep it open and probably add some clarification here to exactly what this means. And probably change the title to be more descriptive about what this is, more of a feature request or a feature replacement of something that was removed. Okay, this problem running Python tests that's still, I can't reproduce this. I don't know what's going on with it, but I should try a little more. Oops, label assigning. There you go. Just some weird failure in Python tests that I don't know how to fix. And then the improved hotgem anomaly example, it's in progress, waiting for PRs to merge. So unless there are any objections, I will move all of these into the next sprint. I think they're probably all relevant. And fill the old sprint. And we're in sprint 23. There's a bunch of satellite projects. I don't really have a good view for these yet, but I do sort of have a command line tool that I use. So these are all of the other projects: the tooling server, Darwin, and Linux 64, and the wallboard. These are the only things that have issues that are currently in sprint 23. So I'm not going to go over all of these in GitHub UI just because I'll be switching between a bunch of tabs. But all of the Darwin and Linux 64 stuff is assigned to Austin. None of them are extremely important or critical, but they're all stuff that does, I believe, need to get done at some point. This is an interesting one for the tooling server. Anytime there's a PR that merges a NuPIC core to master, so when NuPIC core gets updated, it would be kind of cool if automatically a PR was created for NuPIC that updates to the new core SHA and just sits there so that the build can run against it so we can get an indication that everything still works properly. Then it's up to our discretion whether we want to merge that and update NuPIC core to point to the new, or excuse me, to update NuPIC to point to the new NuPIC core SHA. So I kind of like that idea, so I'm going to keep that around and try and work on it. And then the wallboard thing, there's a couple of things here. Jeff is assigned to one, which is just a nice to have thing, to have the developer tab be its own tab, or its own page, excuse me, because that makes a lot of HTTP calls, and sometimes it's not used. So we do have a rate limit that I've exceeded occasionally, having the wallboard up. And then I would like a page on there, and I have the backend functionality in place for this. I just need a UI to display all the issues across Numenta repos, because it's kind of a pain to go between, I don't know, 8 or 10 different repositories that we have just to see what issues are currently open in the current sprint. So I've got a command line tool that does this, and which is nice for me, but it would be nice to have on our wallboard somewhere. And that's basically it, I believe. That was a fast sprint planning meeting, but I don't think I have anything else. We've got more than enough work on in the next sprint in NuPIC and NuPIC Core, and I'm just going to keep plugging along as I have been. Hopefully you guys will too. Does anybody else have any comments or questions? Sounds good to me.
All right, thanks, Matt.
See you guys on the mailing list.
All right.